to all the mummies in Mummyland. Welcome back into this week. You know, it's Mom's Life episode here on Active FM. Last week we spoke about gender fluidity, right? What it is and how confusing it can be and how dangerous it can actually be for all parties, from your children to their friends to yourself, etc. But this week is important for you, moms. So, listen up.
Yes, this week's topic is also very, very interesting. This month we're talking about everything children, right? And the article that I read had some very, 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 very interesting information, which was from allprodad.com. So the article was about 5 ways to protect your child from pedophiles. And I really liked the opening of this article. I thought it's very, very insightful. So listen to this. Ernie Ellen, if I'm saying that correctly, I'm sorry, Miss Ellen, if this is not the right way to pronounce your name. The president of National Center of Missing Exploited Children says, "We know for a fact that those who prey upon children are people who seek legitimate access, don't look like the stereotypes. These are doctors, lawyers, pastors, teachers, executives, even police officers." It's really across social spectrum.
Yeah.
The vast majority don't look the way the children expect them to look. They've done a focus group with kids. They all get the idea they shouldn't talk to strangers. But when they're asked what is a stranger, it's invariably somebody who is big, scary, dirty, and ugly. People who look like they are going to hurt you, but really the pedophile is far more likely to be someone who is a friend or a coach. Unfortunately, we live in an age where exploitation of children is on a rise.
Yeah.
And we will be discussing 5 ways on how you can protect your children. Very interesting.
So the first one, get active in your children's life. Like, this is a no-brainer for any situation. Make sure that you are active in your child's life. Make sure you know who your children are spending time with, the adults they are coming in contact with on a regular basis, or what they are doing at a friend's house. Now, I was lucky enough, and it was back in the day, but, I don't know if much has changed. But, my parents did give me leeway to go to my friend's house, and obviously my friends' parents were around, and there was a trust element, but my parents always knew the other parents' friends as well. Sorry, my parents knew the other parents' parents, other friends' parents, you know what I mean? Yeah. Anyway, so it was obviously they knew the parents, but they weren't around all the time. But my mom always, had this relationship with me where she was like, doesn't matter what happens, or, you just talk to me. Just make sure that we have that open line of communication. She never judged. She never went, oh, that's terrible. She was like, make sure that you're open with me and you're talking to me all the time, So, I used to sleep out at friends' houses. In fact, I was probably mostly at my friends' houses at one stage in my life. But, it was sort of back then, and parents sort of knew each other and bonded with each other. Nowadays, if it were me now, my children are 4 and 6. When they get to older stages where they can sleep out, even if I know the parents, I'm not sure that I would even let them sleep out. And not from a perspective of the parents are going to do something. I don't know who's coming over. I don't know, and the parents may be like, and like Tandor actually said, the parents may be like, that's definitely not a person that would do something like that to my child. But then it ends up happening, and you're like, that's why you can't really trust anyone. That sounds so terrible, but I think every parent would understand that. I remember having a friend that, her parents literally were like, you can come over to our house, but she ain't going over to your house. She came, the parents came to meet my parents, and they still wouldn't let her sleep there. And I can understand that now, being a parent. Then I was like, this is so unfair. I'm like always going to her house. Why can't she come to mine? I understand that now. So just make sure that you know your children, you know their parents, you know their friends, and don't, trust to a certain degree, but make sure that you are cautious, because again, you don't know, you can't just you can't judge a book by its cover. You can't go, oh, that person looks okay, but they really aren't.
No, that's very true. My mom never let us sleep over at anybody's house. Never.
Sure.
It's so funny that even when I got married, because my mom passed away, and my sister never slept over, even when I was not with her, staying with her. But she would phone me. She phoned me one day. She says, "My sister, can I go sleep over?" I'm like, "How old are you?
Yeah.
You're so old. You're asking me that." It's like, but we never, it was never a thing. I'm like, you big. If you want to go, go.
Yeah.
But now I know where you are. Now I'm expecting you to tell me every single time. But yeah, it was never, my mom never let us sleep over at anybody's house, which I understand now why it was also unfair. You said unfair, it's not fair. But yeah, parents know best. Your mother knows better.
Exactly.
The second point, make time to take part in your children's life. Pedophiles look for children who appear to be on their own, whose parents don't pay much attention to them. Pedophiles participate in activities where children are. Getting involved in your children's life can help set up barriers between your child and the pedophile. I thought this was so good because, and I know it's not always possible for parents, maybe a single mom who's the breadwinner in the house, who's working 2 jobs or at work all the time. But this is where It Takes a Village comes in, that we are moms who are around. We can see that in that house, or my neighbor's children are always on their own, but then I can step in as a fellow mother and not judge their parents, because I used to do that as well. I used to judge, parents that leave their kids alone, not knowing the full story, what's actually happening. But that's not okay to do, because judging doesn't really help anyone. But it takes a village. So if you are a mom and you're not able to take part in your children's life, there's other moms around, who can, step in and say, no, I'll take it upon myself to be a mother to those kids, because the mom is not there.
The next one is sexual abuse and exploitation of children at any time. This isn't just a big city problem. The U.S. Department of Justice estimates that on average there is 1 child molested per square mile. In Canada, that means on average there is 1 child molested per 1.6 square kilometers. Be aware of the people who live in your community and watch those who seem to have an unusual interest in children. So, I don't let my kids go play outside. I just don't. And, I know that Tandor does have like a little place where she stays, where there's a little bit of community, which is good. It's good for children because they get to engage with one another, and it's good.
It's good to a degree.
Yes, but you have to keep your eye on your children all the time. You have to keep your ear out. You have to watch. You have to observe, and not just observe the parents and the people that are around constantly. So I'm constantly on the lookout when I have my kids around. It's like, I don't know, sometimes I think I'm a little bit too psycho when it comes to that, but I think I'm really paranoid about having them play outside, just from that perspective. You don't know the people, you don't even, I heard someone saying, I was having a conversation with someone the other day about how it used to be back in the day, how children could just drive on their bikes and go to school and go to a friend's house and come back late. And I do remember myself even playing outside with, the kids and that. And it's just that today, if there's not a safe environment, you have to just watch the environments, because things just happen so quickly. So again, just making sure that you are constantly looking at the people that look like they possibly could do something, but don't underestimate the people that, don't look like they can't do anything. Even women, can I please just say that? Like, it's not just, men are the ones that do the pedophilia and molestation. Women, number one, can lure your child into that, but they can also be part of that. Please don't think it's only men.
Yeah, very true. Listen to your intuition. Teach your children to listen to their intuition. It is a natural defense system. As we grow older, it becomes more refined. It is designed to protect us from harmful and dangerous situations. So make sure your child understands this. And if they feel uncomfortable teach them to get out of the situation. If they feel unsure and they don't want to do a specific thing, then don't. If they don't want to go with a certain person, don't make them go. So stop caring about being polite and think about the safety of your child first.
Yeah, that's actually quite good, because I don't think I've ever been in situations like that where it's like with someone else. But I do sometimes, like, if my child, so my sons are not very like sociable. So when someone wants to love them, or not love them, say hello to them, and they don't say hello back, I kind of want to, my tendency is to force them. Yeah. Especially with the younger girls, it's like, I suppose sometimes it's okay for them to hug, but they don't want to. And I'm thinking to myself now, maybe that's not a bad thing that they don't want to. Because, not that to say that person will do something to them, but there might be another person that'll come along that may want to have or has the wrong intention. Yeah. So things to remember: if your child is sexually abused, don't blame them, right? It is not your child's fault. Oftentimes the abuser will make a child feel as if they contributed to the abuse. The child is never at fault. Adults know better and must accept full responsibility for their actions. Very good. And I often tell my kids, like, there's this thing where, maybe sometimes when I'm bathing them, I'm like, where must someone not touch you? And if they do, what do you do? And they have to tell me what they do. And I even say to them, if someone offers you a sweet, if someone says you've been naughty and they want to touch you, or if someone says, this is your fault, it doesn't matter, mommy won't shout, come to mommy. And that's just to make sure that our kids know. And again, when they do come to you, don't shout. Just to make sure that the kids know that. You probably won't recognize a pedophile. Despite the picture people may have of a pedophile, there is not one look for a sexual predator. They come from a variety of background, professions, ethnic backgrounds. Usually the pedophile is known by both the child and you. So it's not like it's someone that's like in your community and it's like a wave away. Most of the time, it is someone that you know and someone that your child knows that actually does these things, because there's a trust level. Your child won't necessarily trust someone in the community. They will definitely trust someone within your own home. So, again, no judging, but just be careful.
Very, very good advice there. The ending verse tonight is from Psalm 18, verse 30. And it reads, "As for God, His way is perfect. The Lord's word is flawless. He shields all who take refuge in Him." This is very clear and very plain. As for God, there is no confusion. As for God, His ways are perfect, and His word is flawless. Amen. And everything else in this world is not perfect. This world is not perfect. We know that. We can see that with the things that are happening in the world. And the word of God, of this world is also flawed. People, last week we spoke about this whole fluidity thing. It's today I'm this, or this hour I'm this, and the next hour I'm that. Yeah. Everything in this world is flawed. And as moms, we need to take refuge in Him for our children's sake. Everything regarding our children in every way, anything that pertains our kids, we trust what God says when He says His ways, they are perfect and His word is flawless.
Yeah. Amen. So we hope that this has encouraged you today, given you a little bit of insight, maybe opened up your eyes and your mind to certain things that you need to look out for. Again, nothing to be fearful about. Yeah. Pray over your kids, pray over your family, pray over yourself, that God would open your eyes and give you wisdom in terms of this. Yeah. But again, it's all about protecting the children, your children, and other people's children. So not only your children. So yes, that is it from It's a Mom's Life, where we live, laugh, and love on Active FM. Yes. So we hope that you're going to go and check us out on Facebook. Make sure that you do some comments in there. Tell us about what you liked about the shows, or what you would like us to chat about, or if there's anything that you'd like to say. It would be really, really awesome. And we shall see you next week.
Next week.
Bye.
Bye.